working at another gun store, and I was friends with the man who owned this place. One day he came into the other store. He was coming home from vacation, so he just stopped in, and he jokingly said to my boss, "Would you be interested in buying another gun store?" When it was Dave's Guns and Ammo, and asked him if he was really interested in selling the store, and he was. And a year and a half later, we had the store. When we decided to buy the store, we tried to think of a name for the store, and we were talking back and forth, and I said to Ann, we should just call it Annie's. And then Get Your Gun popped into my head as a reference to the play. And we have to take the guns out of the safe in the morning and put them out on display, and then after the store closes, we take all the guns out of the display and put them back in the safe so that anyone who breaks in with robbery on their mind can't get to the guns. We emphasize the three main rules of gun safety, and those are: keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction at all times, keep your finger off the trigger and out of the trigger guard until you're ready to fire, and keep the gun unloaded until you're ready to use it. I have two examples here. One of them is a revolver, one of them is a semi-automatic pistol. This is the revolver, this is the semi-automatic pistol. We keep them pointed in a safe direction at all times. And this ammo that I'm going to be using to load and unload the gun is dummy ammo. It's non-firing ammo with no powder in it and no primer. So there's no danger of an accident happening. To load the revolver, pick it up like this. We make sure our finger is off the trigger and out of the trigger guard, and we make sure the muzzle's pointing in a safe direction at all times. This is the cylinder. That's where the chambers are, and the chambers are where the ammo is stored and brought into play when the gun is fired. We just take one and drop it into one of the chambers. This particular gun holds 7 rounds, but we'll only use 1 dummy round for the demonstration. We move that over to what's called the next to fire position, and we close the cylinder. Now this gun is ready to fire. If I were to cock the hammer, which I'm not going to do, or pull the trigger, which I'm not going to do, that would move the dummy cartridge into the ready to fire position and prepare it for firing. To unload the gun, we simply push forward on this latch. That's the cylinder latch. That allows the cylinder to rock out. Then we push in on this ejector rod. That ejects the round, and the gun is unloaded. Then we put the gun down, put the action open, and it's safe. To load the semi-automatic pistol, again, we keep the muzzle pointing in a safe direction, and we keep our finger off the trigger and out of the trigger guard. We take the magazine out, make sure the gun is unloaded by looking in the chamber and feeling in there. Put the gun down for a second. We take the non-firing dummy round, insert that into the magazine, pick up the pistol again with the muzzle pointing in a safe direction and our finger off the trigger and out of the trigger guard. We insert that magazine up into the gun and let the slide go forward. Now that round has been moved out of the magazine and into the chamber, and the gun is ready to fire. To unload the gun, we take the magazine out first. We lock the slide open, check the chamber to make sure the gun's unloaded by looking in there and feeling in there. Put the gun back down, and that's how to load and unload a revolver and a semi-automatic pistol. Criminals do criminal things. So generally you don't find criminals coming into a gun store to lawfully buy a gun. When you buy a gun in a gun store, you have to fill out a federal form, which it's a felony to lie on, and you have to fill out a state form as well. The state does an extensive background check. The background check takes 10 days, and if someone is a prohibited person, they won't pass the background check. I went to an ACLU event, and there was some big mucky muck from ACLU there who was the guest speaker, and he was mingling with the hoi polloi afterwards and inviting us to ask him questions and engage in a dialogue. And I asked him why the ACLU doesn't support the Second Amendment, and why in the ACLU literature that they send out to their members, they have the Bill of Rights listed there, but they leave out the Second Amendment. At least they did at that time. And he dissembled for about 2 minutes. In other words, He talked and talked, but didn't answer the question. And that really started me on the road to questioning the whole idea of why an organization that was ostensibly a civil rights organization ignored one of the most basic civil rights anyone could have, and that is to defend his own life.
And action. And action.